Alexandria has always been, and strives to be, a melting pot of cultures and knowledge. Scientists, mathematicians, and writers came to Alexandria to learn, collaborate, and create new knowledge. The original ancient Library of Alexandria was founded in 288 BC and housed thousands of scrolls written by the finest intellectuals of the ancient world. Over 1,700 years ago, the Library of Alexandria was the biggest repository of knowledge in the world. The Library of Alexandria can be thought of as the ancient world's Library of Congress. Unfortunately, the ancient library was destroyed in 400 AD. The library's physical destruction was a terrible occurrence in history, but the destruction of its environment was an even greater loss. The great intellectuals of Alexandria created an environment of learning that would encourage the proliferation of ideas. When the Library of Alexandria was desecrated, this unique environment was uprooted as well. It wasn't until 2002 that the Library of Alexandria was rebuilt. The new library has a shelf capacity for 8 million books, with the main reading room covering nearly 750,000 square feet. The main reading room stands beneath a 32-meter-high, glass-paneled roof, tilted out toward the sea like a sundial, and measuring some 160 meters in diameter. The external walls of the library are of gray Aswan granite, carved with characters from 120 different human scripts. As it turned out, the difficulty was not in creating a building for knowledge, but instead in recreating the environment that sustained such deep thought. It would be the task of Dr. Ismail Serageldin, the founding director of the Library of Alexandria, to revive this flourishing environment. Dr. Serageldin began by hiring highly qualified people to work in the Library of Alexandria.
I found at the Library of Alexandria an atmosphere which encouraged me to flourish through the principles and the institution culture. Everyone had the opportunity to grow. It's a merit-based institution, so no, like we say in French, préjudice, no difference between woman or man. So I had the opportunity to learn, to grow.
The mission of the library to be center of excellence in production and dissemination of knowledge and center of dialogue and understanding, to be window of Egypt to the world, and the world's window to Egypt, center for dialogue and understanding. All these values made me think, yes, I want to be part of this.
In an attempt to make knowledge accessible to remote parts of Egypt, Dr. Serageldin hired teachers to act as ambassadors of knowledge. Together, they created outreach programs to transfer knowledge to women and girls in underprivileged areas of Egypt. The Library of Alexandria then acquired Beit al-Senari, the home of Napoleon's Institute for the Committee of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Serageldin turned this house into a center for science, culture, and arts, in an effort to promote Egypt's cultural heritage through a series of workshops tailored to women.
These mashrabiyas were used by women to look at the outside world without being looked at. And yet when I opened this window, I stared straight at the Sanaya school, the first girls' school in Cairo. And for us, this is very inspiring at Beit Sineri. And this is the reason we've tried as much as possible to connect the house with this tradition by creating programs for women's empowerment, for women's education.
To further advance the goals of the Library of Alexandria, Dr. Serageldin joined the edX platform. He hopes to expose learners worldwide to the achievement and contributions of Egypt, while allowing Egyptians to access the greater world around them.
Our aim in joining the edX program is to be able to introduce Egypt and our culture to the world, but also to bring more knowledge to our students here in this part of the world.
There are certain courses and certain educational material that are not very accessible for people in certain areas, or they are quite expensive. It was also interesting to help or become part of this project, because then you provide opportunities for people who might be quite underprivileged.
The new Library of Alexandria has revived the environment that was set into place many hundreds of years ago. Under the direction of Dr. Ismail Serageldin, the Library of Alexandria is becoming one of the world's greatest educational institutions once more. This is Gayatri Sundarajan and Michael Armanius reporting for Arlington Public News.